What's up, family? How y'all doing today? My name is Ty, and I got a quick message for y'all. This video is pretty much for anybody who's walking a spiritual path or anyone who's trying to live as authentically as they possibly can in this lifetime. The more you become aligned with that truth and, the truth of who you are and the truth of why you're here, you're going to be opening yourself up to being used by the divine, so you could be an example for other people to follow. They don't have to necessarily follow you, but you're going to be using as an example of somebody to learn from and to gain like wisdom from. Depending on what side you play for, God will end up using you to bring more light into the world. And that's kind of the era that we're headed into with, it being the age of Aquarius. A lot of things are coming into light. A lot of truth and a lot of evil is being highlighted at this time. So since we're, starting to figure out who's who, like, who's real and who's fake, God is now wanting those who are living in their truth to step forward and to not be afraid to speak out. One of the burdens of knowing the truth and knowing things that are true and living in your truth is that, once you know something, you have to share it. You have to, spread that truth. You have to actually live by it and be an example for that truth, because you know better. So you're going to be expected to do better, and you're going to be expected to carry the weight of having to show other people the truth, especially if you know it could help them. Like, now is not the time to withhold any information from people if you know it could benefit them, even if you believe that, it might fall on deaf ears. Now is the time to really speak out on things, because before we were coming from an era where if you spoke the truth, then it might fall on deaf ears, or you just might be persecuted for sharing what you know. But now more people want to know the truth. More people want to live authentically and, make good decisions. And, it's like before we had the grace to be able to avoid certain truths and to live in a fantasy and to live in illusions and to not know certain things. But like now, moving forward into this new age, we don't have that luxury anymore to just be ignorant about certain things. Not that like ignorance ever did anybody justice at any point, but it's like now to the point where if you don't speak on certain things when it's time to speak on it, and when God calls you to say something or to act on something, it could potentially have a negative effect on yourself and people around you. It's like people who God could use, who are like living truthfully and authentically, they're being called to the forefront, and you're going to be encouraged to speak on things without fear or without doubt that the people aren't, the people that you're speaking to, that they're, ready to receive what you're saying. And it's like when you're doing this, you're pretty much being used as a catalyst to help, the world change, whether it be on a small scale or a large scale. And it's like, even if certain people don't believe what you're saying, or, they're just not open to receiving what you're saying or showing them, it's like you're still sending them on that pathway to truth. And it's like, you know, when you hear something that's true in your spirit, it never really leaves you. You know, it may take a while for it to come back around and to make sense, but even when you say certain things to certain people and they don't believe you, it still stays with them to the point to where they're ready to fully accept what it is that you're saying to them. It's like when you're speaking fearlessly about the truth and like trying to help people, it's like you're winning battles in spirit that you don't even see. Like you're setting people free in ways that you might not even understand. It's like in the last era, the more people spreaded illusions and lies and trickery, you know, the more influence and power they gain. So now in this era, it's kind of the opposite. The people who are speaking the truth are the ones who are going to be elevated and sought after because people are going to want to hear the truth and they're not going to want to accept lies anymore. So those who speak the truth and live the truth and embody it on the inside and out, you'll be elevated to a higher level of authority. Like you'll be looked at as, you know, different, like somebody who's important, whether that be on a, you know, a big scale or even on a small scale. But it doesn't really even matter, you know, how profound the impact is, whether a lot of people hear it or not. It's just the fact that you're, you know, living the truth and being an example for the people who are around you, who could see you. So now is really not the time to be afraid. You know, don't be afraid to be an open channel for God to use you and to have these truths come through you, because ultimately that's what we all incarnated to do this lifetime.